Good evening and welcome to Slam the Gavel, the show that tells all regarding family court, other court issues, as well as CPS. I am your host, Marianne Petrie. Bradley's mother, Narcus Golan, passed away in the fall. He is autistic and needs structured routine and therapies he receives for his autism 6 days a week. However, Italy just entrusted Bradley to the Italian Social Services. If he is ruled to go back, he will face the next 3 to 4 years in the Italian foster care system, where he can't speak or understand the language. He will then be taken away from the only family he has ever known, and we have Judge Ann Donnelly to thank for that. Please call Governor Hochul, New York State, 518-474-8390. That's Governor Hochul, 518-474-8390, to please keep Bradley here safe in these United States. Hashtag keep Bradley safe. Also, go to the site, pleasedoyourjob.com. We need 2,500 more signatures to get a case reopened. That's pleasedoyourjob.com. I have a brand new guest. I am bringing on Lauren Griffin and James Griffin. They're new to the podcast. I also have Kelly Patton on. She was last on season 4, episodes 124, 146, and 151. And we have a case here that needs to be brought to everyone's attention because this case is corrupt. We've got James Griffin, who has been imprisoned, and I think sounds like he was framed. He was 3 hours away when a crime was committed, and somehow they pinned it on him. And I welcome you all to my podcast. How are you all?
Okay.
How are you doing?
Well, just every day, just still trying to understand why. I'm, that's basically where I'm at, still trying to understand it, understand why, and
And there's no answers.
no answers. State of Kansas is not answering. We're trying every attempt to get the word out there, and that's hoping the blessing comes through you, you know?
Well, I hope so too. You were 3 hours away from this. It's a no-brainer. What was the DA thinking?
That's a good one. That's a good one right there.
Well, who was the DA at that time? Because maybe there's a new DA now.
It was Robert Heck, and he had a whole lot of issues concerning representing cases and getting involved in cases in Kansas, and nobody seemed to do anything concerning his actions, but basically posted out in the media concerning his actions. But yeah, his name was Robert Heck.
Is it Hick?
Yeah.
So he just was a DA that just didn't file anything. He probably just sat around at his desk and just let crime proliferate.
Well, the way my situation personally, that's how I feel. And the way my family feels, and the way people that's actually got involved in this case and feel that way.
I don't mean to re-traumatize you, but when this all happened at the very beginning, what were you told? Did they come to your door and say, "We're here to arrest you"?
Well, basically, yeah. In so many words, yes, they did. They just came to the house, and they said that they had a warrant for me, and police was everywhere, all around, everywhere, and we couldn't understand why. And they said we'll tell you when we get you down to the police station. And they took me to the police station, and they questioned me about a robbery and a shooting at this restaurant. And I'm like, why am I here? I don't even know what are you referring to? Why am I even here? I just kept saying that.
Mm-hmm.
And they just kept telling me that, for my part in the shooting. And I don't, like I told him, I've never shot nobody. I've never been around anybody that shot anybody. I'm not even a gun carrier.
Mhm.
Um,
And
it
it's,
basically went on deaf ears.
but did they say, well, this was in such and such town, and why weren't they getting this?
Well, they said that they said it happened in Topeka, Kansas. And they said the reason why we got you is because we got people saying that you did this. I said that can't be true. And I'm still saying it's not true. And it still isn't true. I just recently come across information concerning some of these people to why they did what they did, to testify falsely. I'm not mad at them. I just, I'm glad that they did come forward. You know, I just feel like there's a lot more that needs to come forward involving the law official and this prosecutor. I really feel like that needs to really come forward here.
Is this prosecutor still around, or did he become?
Yes.
Oh,
His name is Michael McElhaney. He's in Johnson County. The prosecutor there too, also. And I also had another prosecutor also involved. Her name was Kathleen Lippert, which I've been raising concerns about her that I need people to listen to and just look into her, because played a big part in this conviction here too.
Hey, James, I did do a request for open records for her resignation, her abrupt resignation. So I thought maybe we could look into that as well, because she abruptly resigned from the Kansas Board of Healing Arts. I think she was on the board of that. So I'm going to look into her abrupt resignation.
They kind of silenced that and trying to keep that quiet too.
Yeah, I see that. There was no media coverage of that except for the fact that Ms. Lippert wouldn't comment on it. And that's as far as the media was on that. I did do this request for her records on January the 5th. Today's the 14th, and I still haven't heard anything. So we're waiting on those records to see what pans out from that information.
Oh, well, I can tell you now, Kansas is not too up to just giving up information concerning state figures and state political that has issues, that's on record, but it somehow is, I don't know, it's just not talked about here in Kansas. It's like an good old boy program here.
mhm.
The little person's life doesn't matter. And
So
we need to get this out.
yeah, so there was no due process, correct, Kelly? There was just no.
Oh, no. Oh, it's terrible. I recently got, actually, it's this is the first time James and I've actually spoken to each other since I got all the documents. So I might be writing stuff down because I'm listening to him talk, and he may have responses that I need to document.
Okay.
We haven't spoke since I got all these records. So yeah, this is so bad. This is so bad. I'm looking at the detective's investigation, the questioning. Yeah, it's I read it and I ended up having more questions than I ever did answers, which is ironic for a jury trial. So I can't believe 12 people would find a man guilty when there was literally no evidence, zero evidence, except for his car may have looked like the car at the scene. and he is Black. That's it. Two things he's guilty of. That's it. Literally, the questioning is absurd. The prosecutor, when he went in and prepped for the jury and he was questioning to get his jury pool, he literally repeated a phrase over and over and over to drive it into these people's heads, the jurors, that basically even if they could not find a sliver of evidence that James would be involved in this, that even a sliver amount of possibility that James could be involved in this, that makes him wholly culpable for this whole entire thing. And basically, after this was done, according to the prosecution, they talked about the shooter more than they ever talked about James in this entire trial.
You have talked for 15 minutes for a total cost of $1.05. This message is at no cost. You may continue speaking now.
And yes, James is still in El Dorado prison for this crime. Also, I want to say real quick before we, while we're at the beginning of this, my email address is also down below. If anybody if they're listening to this and they have any information or any leads that I could follow on this, please email me. I would love to be able to find something fresh and new about this crime that I could potentially help James with. So my email address is also listed at the bottom. I would really appreciate that. Thank you.
That will be on the podcast notes.
Thank you.
So James, tell me what was, again, I hate to have you go back over what happened in court. Did they let you speak?
Yes, they did at my sentencing, but I tried to speak during the process to why am I here? Because this guy got on the stand talking about the guy that did this to him. He said he sounded Black, and I couldn't understand why am I here? I don't know you. I don't know this man, and I kept telling my attorney, aren't you going to say something? Aren't you going to say something? Because I had a court-appointed attorney.
Oh.
And he said, "Oh, well, you'll have your time. Don't worry about it.
Oh.
Don't say, And that thought just kept pressuring in my mind, talking about the guy sounded Black. And I'm like, well, aren't you going to find out why he's saying this? Because I wanted to know why this man felt that the guy that did this sounded Black. I'm Black. I took it personal. I'm the only Black person in this whole courtroom, even included the juries. I'm the only Black person in this whole courtroom here. And nobody couldn't understand how I felt being put on the stand for something that this man doesn't even know me. And I've never even seen this man in my life or heard of him or knew anything about this man. And nobody cared. Nobody cared.
The victim described the person that shot him was a person dressed in all Black, could not tell if it was male, female, could not see their eyes, could not see their hands, could not see anything. So they based on the color, based off of the voice of this person. He sounded Black. So in theory, they don't know what color this person is, because depending on where you're at in the United States, you have different dialects, different ways to say different items and different things. So they're assuming and they're stating, well, he sounded Black. Well, are you sure that he was Black? Because you don't know, because the victim never actually saw the person that shot him, other than this person was dressed in Black.
And no one ever questioned him. My attorney nobody never questioned this man, even the history of why he would even say something like this.
They never did any voice analysis or anything.
None of that.
Well, when I'm reading the paperwork, let me tell you what I was in shock. Okay, this is the third robbery at this location. The third robbery. There's no cameras. They came in a door. Allegedly, no one's allowed to even come in the door, and it's mostly locked. This person would have known. This person would have known the door is generally locked, but the person, how would they take a chance that this door is unlocked? When they came in the door, they went straight to the office. So whoever this person was knew exactly what they were doing. But keep in mind, James is not being tried for his role as a gunman. James was being tried as the role of the getaway driver. So there's no one even saw the getaway driver. They couldn't even say if it was a male or a female. And James is the one on trial to be the getaway driver based on hearsay. Somebody said something to somebody else, and then that's how this went down. No one even saw him. No DNA, no witnesses, nothing. He sounded black.
No one. Yep, and no one's identified James. And no one identified his car as being the exact car or anything.
No.
And not even a tire analysis.
Not even.
No.
He had rims on his car, and they didn't even state that this car had rims. So that's telling me that that's not even the right car, because his rims really stuck out, and no one mentioned anything about flashy rims.
The only thing that I remember reading when description of the car is that it was black or maybe blue. Okay, so black or maybe blue. Yeah. No definitive color. Black, dark. That's it. Dark tinted windows. That's all that was said about the car. And it was dirty. Someone made a comment about it being dirty, but it was snowing outside. So
they also had stated that it was bad tint windows.
Yes.
Well, we had the car professionally tinted, and there was no bad tint on our windows at all.
Yes. One of those girls said that. I think one of the girls that was in the strip mall said something about there was bad tint because she could see partially through the window or something along that line. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure this stuff happens every day. I'm sure there are millions of people sitting in prisons throughout the United States that were either framed or in the wrong place at the wrong time. And James, do you still have access to a public defender to file an appeal?
They're deaf on. I just filed something concerning the district attorney, right? Robert Heck, I was explaining to you about concerning him giving deals. Well, he went on a record and argued my case on an appeal, which was rare and uncommon to do too, from what I've heard. And he argued that none of these witnesses were given deals. None of these witnesses were used as informants or at any means. But that's not true.
Mm-hmm. Tell me more.
And I tried to submit that to the courts, and it just somehow disappeared. The record, the motion that just disappeared. It's because it's an issue that I'm trying to bring to show that, okay, all along there's been cracks in this case. Okay, and if I can show at least there is a crack to a wrong here, to where I need somebody to listen. Look at this, please. But that's just been washed away, like wasn't never there. But I still have the record to prove that. But it just like it's never was there. So I don't,
So
I've been reaching out to several organizations and state officials, and literally it's like dead silence. No responses, no return emails, nothing. I have tried to reach out many times, and he's been in prison for 20 years. It's not like he hasn't been doing anything this whole time. He's literally getting ignored, like blatantly ignored.
Yeah, by organizations, innocent projects,
Yes.
and the ACLU here in Kansas. You know, I've tried to reach out to them to say, hey, listen here, look at this, listen to this audio of this girl that they got to that was actually exposing a lot of this too with her boyfriend. That, you know, hey, we did wrong. We need some. Nobody wants to listen, Marilyn. Nobody wants to listen, and I can't understand why. If a wrong is put in front of you,
James, because it's going to expose too much corruption, James. That's point blank. That's the issue here, is that once somebody, this isn't bad DNA. This isn't faulty DNA. This isn't bad evidence. This is not compromised evidence. No, there's none of that here. No, this is, he said, she said, plea deals, bargains, and you find a name of a guy that drives a dark car, and that's our guy. And that's literally how this happened. Literally.
And this motion disappeared. Your attorney somehow, are they going to pursue this motion that disappeared?
I you know what, I don't even have an attorney now because I can't even afford an attorney, and that's been a problem too. You know, we tried to go and try to invest in someone to help us, and she turned out to be false and stole $20,000 from us, to where now we don't have anything. You know, and it's all struggle now. It's, you know, and they know I don't have the money to get an attorney, so that's why there's no concern here in Kansas on me getting somebody to fight this. And luckily, we ran into Kelly that has a heart that's taking an interest in listening to our story. You know, and like you're doing now, taking a chance to listening to our story. That's all we want, is someone to just take a chance and just to listen, because we're not going to waste your time. It's like I wouldn't want you to waste mine.
Right.
Like
right.
It's being wasted. You know, just want somebody to listen. You know.
You know, and this is just so bad. So this DA, Robert Hicks, who's still around being a DA.
No, I don't think is he? I don't think so. I think he's
retired.
Yeah, I think he's retired. Yeah, he's retired. Yeah.
But the prosecutor's still around.
Okay.
Yeah, and this Kathleen Leipert, I hadn't had a chance to tell James or Laura this, but this chick, I had heard other rumors about her shady activities through another attorney. So when he told me this name and I started digging into it, I recognized her name. She's a bad actor. So we're gonna dig into that and see what we can find out about that.
And just her, and just the fact is, she had full involvement. That should be something where, you know, where the courts would want to listen to me. You know, somebody want to listen to me. It's just any kind of state official is come found to done wrong, doesn't mean that they're just now doing wrong. They had to been doing wrong, because look, this is a issue that I've been raising from the start, from the day they arrested me. You know, that, hey, these people need to be looked into. You know, all these people need to be looking into. You know, but no one ever listened. Still went back to that fears again. You know,
that's why I got involved, because I thought maybe if I would go through all the paperwork myself and help them basically get the word out about what really happened and how this really went down, that maybe there's a possibility once I start digging into these people, we could find a little, like he says, a little crack, a little sliver of something that could potentially, crack this open. And I'm not going to stop no matter how many brick walls, me, Marianne, I'm not going to stop. So I'm relentless. I've been on baby Vincent since 2015. So I don't quit easily, and I'm not intimidated very easily, no matter what they do to me in the courts. They try. So I'm going to keep digging into this and help them get the word out and talk around. And maybe somebody is willing to come forward now. Like I said, my email's at the bottom. You can send me an email. We can, discuss whatever you may, whatever new revelations you may have or evidence or anything like that. We'd really appreciate that very much. But yeah, I'm not giving up on this easily. So I got a lot of work to do too. So.
Right. And I also do updates as well, because I like to have you come back on. Is there anything you would like to add, James?
Well, yeah,
You have talked for 30 minutes for a total cost of $2.10. This message is at no cost. You may continue speaking now.
Well, I would like people first off to know that, this is real and this is genuine. I really want people to understand that don't believe that, situations like this do happen. I mean, I have to say for myself, I've never took interest in just being involved in situations where wrongful convictions happen, or just, didn't, because I've messed up in my life, and I've been in trouble before in my life, but I've never been in trouble to where something like this happened.
Mm-hmm.
To where someone's getting hurt, to a situation to where there's race involved, to where, I can't argue. I can't stand up for myself and say, hey, I'm being discriminated against. I'm being, this is not right. This isn't fair. It's a feeling. It's just, it's not right. You want somebody to listen. You want somebody to understand that, this is one time in your life that, you're not making something up, you want somebody to really listen, and that's how I feel like I'm in a corner with my life right now. It's, they've took so much. I've lost so much. I've lost people that was important to my life. My kids they hardly even know me because of this. My relationship, this been through turmoil through all this, and I just want people to know that these people, these state officials, need to be held accountable, and not only in my situation, all over. Just like your opening statement, I like that. I respect that, because that's, you're making a stance. This is really happening. This is something that's really going on. And you wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't. That's all.
You've missed milestones with your kids, and you've just missed out, and it's just so wrong that they can do this to someone.
Well, my daughter, she's still fighting. I made a couple posts with her out there that, and proud of her, and but she just she still don't understand the full, what is going on here, and it's just, you don't know. It's just, all she knows is, just like everybody else is, I've just been disappeared for 20 years. You know, and
And keep in
it's
mind,
hard. It's hard.
keep in mind, James was not the gunman. James was not the person with the gun.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the car, supposedly, the supposed getaway driver. So this man isn't even, he has all these charges like he's the gunman. He's, all these charges are aggravated, attempted robbery, attempted aggravated robbery, attempted what's the other one, James? Attempted murder?
Yeah, murder, attempted murder, all that.
Attempted murder.
That,
Attempted murder, Marianne.
Oh,
and
Yeah.
I still can't understand that one. How, you know, but like I said, this was it was a strategy. This was, you know, they put this together. They really put this together. They wanted somebody convicted black. They wanted somebody. No one wants to listen, but they wanted somebody black convicted in this case, regardless. And I, you know, like I said, how did they want someone so bad when they don't even know who it was? They didn't even investigate to find out if it wasn't actually a black person. My concern is, Marianne, is why hasn't someone investigated these prior robberies that happened to this man to find out why he would come to that? Did somebody black do this to him in these other ones?
Oh, that's
like
possible. I mean, I would think that's possible because it's in his head subliminally. If this happened, yeah.
2 other times. So this is the 3rd robbery. There's no cameras. There's no security. The back door was left unlocked. No one was allowed to come in it. The son was in the kitchen. He was prepping food and seen someone come in all black and go straight into the office. He didn't, that wasn't, Marianne, come on. That wasn't a red flag. Someone comes in the back door that's not even supposed to be coming in the back door, and you don't even, that's crazy to me. I couldn't believe that wasn't tipped this up to go check.
You would think he would learn after the first robbery to start installing cameras.
Yes.
Is anyone home?
Yes.
Yeah. You know, like I said, this camera issue, you know, I don't know what to believe. You know, I really, in my heart, I believe that there's something that they know that what they've done wrong here, and it's just been so long where it's been covered up to where, you know, it's hard to really.
I think what it is it's going to cost so much money to reopen this case. They don't want to do it. So
and uncover so much corruption, Marianne.
And you know what makes it really bad is these people got promoted in their jobs. We have detectives that got medals. We got the prosecutor that got promoted to a bigger city. That's a DA there. You know, all these people got medals and promoted and big.
Yeah. I know, honey. It frustrates me too every time I think about it or when we talk about it.
Yep. So they're in the media saying, "Oh, look at these wonderful people. They're out here, you know, doing good for the community." And look, they're not. They didn't thoroughly investigate this case. They did no investigation. They did not pull phone records, which proves that if they would have pulled the phone records, that proves that James was 3 hours away. He wasn't even near this robbery, attempted robbery when it occurred.
Oh, see, this is a no-brainer.
They just wanted someone. They didn't care who it was. It was a horrendous crime. People wanted someone to pay for this. They didn't care who it was. They wanted to make the community happy. So they're like, well, let's just put these little pawns here and here. Let's give them deals so they'll say this. And then years later, these pawns have come back and said, hey, we were coerced to say this because we got deals. But yet all these detectives got medals, people got promoted, judges got promoted to Supreme Court. And you have all these promotions saying, hey, look at the good of the community. And falsifying all of this stuff because this was not true. They did not break this case. They lied to the community.
And the
They didn't
worst
break
part
this
of it,
case. They didn't even investigate the case. Because
And
if they
Laura-
would have done their jobs, they would have known that James is innocent.
Yeah.
They did not do this.
yeah, and the worst thing, Laura, the criminal is still out there.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
We are not safer
Probably
because
committing
James is
other-
in prison.
Exactly.
Okay, so I have a question. Okay, so if there have been 3 robberies, is there like insurance involved with this owner of this store? If things were damaged or whatever, it keeps happening. And I'm sure he must have some type of insurance, but why didn't they say, hey, you have to start installing cameras by the second robbery?
Right. A
Um,
liability. Yeah.
Right. But could there be, well,
Yeah.
you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I know where you're going. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know where you're going.
Because
this- He ended up being paralyzed after it. He was shot. So, okay, so they say it was a robbery, Marianne. No money was taken. It hadn't even gone far enough. The person hadn't even gone far enough into the office to even get near money. All it was give me your money. The guy turns around, he shoots him in the shoulder. Okay, so we only know this is a robbery because the man sounded black and said, give me all your money. Okay, that's how we know this is a robbery. No other reason. No cameras, no
That's
voice
it.
analysis, nothing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, James. Go ahead.
That's it. That was it right there. And I can't understand it. I really can't. And you're saying conspiracy, yeah, to commit this crime. Come on, nothing was never taken from this man.
No.
Nothing was never. I can't understand it. I really can't.
And this goes back to
other than this man saying it, just like him saying that the guy that did it sounded black. Those two things, would be something that I did, argue and push to say that why don't somebody look into this? Why ain't somebody looking into what this man is saying here and what has happened here?
Well,
But
it's all in those phone records. These are so important. Like your wife said, why didn't they look at these phone records? You were 3 hours away. You can't be two places at once.
They said it was this is how this is so bizarre and just so crazy. They said it was a dummy number. They said my phone records was dummy number. If you look at my phone records, you can see that that's actual legal documentation.
Yeah.
Where I'm at. What is going on? And they said it was a dummy number. My dummy, they just like insulted us, slapped us in our face like we're just like our life didn't matter in that courtroom. That's what I felt.
I am so sorry.
Well, Marianne, I'm not going to give up. So I got a lot more work to do. So I'm just going to keep on and keep on.
Yes, and I will too. And Lauren, is there anything you'd like to say?
I would just like to say that whoever is listening, please look into this. Please assist us with whatever information that you can find to help Kelly bring this case to justice, to get James home from a wrongful conviction that he spent over 20 some years in prison for something that he didn't do, so he can at least have some type of future and some type of life.
Yeah.
How wrong? How wrong? Well, I'd like to have you all back on, in the future with updates. I follow updates. So, don't jump off, okay? Slam the Gavel is a podcast to help the public understand what really goes on in these family courtrooms and courtrooms in general. I am your host, Marianne Petrie, author of Dismantling Family Court Corruption, Why Taking the Kids Was Not Enough, and Cry Out for Justice, Poems of Truth, and Raised by These Wolves, How Family and Federal Courts Are Failing Our Children, where I do feature Kelly Patton. You can find me on Spotify, YouTube, Apple iTunes, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, and other platforms I don't even know about. And please feel free to buy me a coffee to keep this podcast going. And I thank you so much, Lauren and James and Kelly Patton.
Thanks, Marianne.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For what you do.
Thank you.